right, Kaboom Test Labs presents another issue of Nerds with Issues, NWI.
The return.
As always, with me, we have Admiral Duke.
Yes, sir.
As well as
B-wok.
B-Wizzle. We had a great weekend.
Albuquerque Comic Con.
Albuquerque Comic Con.
13.
We were, we're all tired.
Yeah, wiped out is the word,
Yeah,
I think.
complete. We literally have just gotten back. We are at Kaboom recording the show tonight. Long weekend. We got a lot to cover.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, I want to give a big special thanks to our sponsor, Kaboom Test Labs, once again for having us out there.
Oh, dude, such a great time at the booth this time.
Great
I
turnout.
had a fantastic time. I really did.
Me too.
I think we all, I think we all got what we wanted out of the Comic Con.
Yeah. Handed out a lot of our wonderful NWI backpacks to everybody at the show.
Oh my God!
Absolutely. We saw a lot of yellow on the floor.
A lot of yellow on the floor.
Yeah, if you were there and you saw people wearing those little yellow
Saw a lot
drawstring
of
backpacks,
there too.
yeah, that was from us.
That was ours. You're welcome.
Nerds with Issues.
You're welcome.
As well as outer space skate apparel.
Great stuff
from Mr.
Great
Dead Air
boards,
Timmy.
man. And I gotta say, dude, I mean, because it was cool because we're always out at Comic-Con. We always have the comic book stuff and stuff like that. But being a kid that grew up with the Bones Brigade and skateboarding and all that stuff, I loved seeing that we had boards and some just
If you don't know,
great looking stuff out there, man.
Admiral Duke is really the one of the three of us that's from the concrete wave, as Albuquerque is known.
Thank you.
He's broken many bones riding that
Many
wave,
bones.
but
Many bones.
sprained many wrists and has retired from the game, seeing as he's an old man now.
Wow.
Now he is
True.
He doesn't have a board anymore. He's in his wheelchair now.
Oh, that's right. I know what he's okay. This kid's referring to the fact that I think he actually saw me biff on my board once.
Wow.
Inside jokes.
Andy used the word biff. If it's not a reference to Back to the Future, I don't get it.
Look,
So,
man, I'm from the '90s. Everything's radical.
you're from the 80s. Let's stop trying to act like you're not. You're from the 70s. You'll have to excuse me because my voice was gone, but it is back. So let's get back on topic here. Albuquerque Comic Con, we did everything that we wanted to do. We had a pretty good time. You know, we got to meet a lot of cool people. We got to do some networking. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of the stuff that we did. The first and foremost thing, and Brian, you don't get to talk about this because you guys were douchebags and didn't come. But Duke and I got to go to an amazing panel.
It was amazing.
I want to talk about this first just because of how cool it was and how much fun we had.
Absolutely.
If you're familiar with the comic book world, then you know these names. Jimmy Palmiotti.
Absolutely.
And his lovely wife, Amanda Connor.
Dude, I'm just going to start blubbering here because
Sure.
Amanda was awesome.
They made the
Awesome.
con. Let's be honest. I think they were. I know that the three of us were really excited for.
Absolutely.
And definitely for me at least paid off for the con. Yep. Just them two.
I mean, I'm just going to
Super
go.
nice folks.
I'm going to go straight up fanboy here. I'm a huge fan of hers because I am a huge Power Girl fan, and she has done
The biggest I know.
Dude, she has done some of the best work on Power Girl that I've ever seen. And she's just a fantastic she's done a fantastic representation of the character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Duke would be the one to ask. Duke is the biggest Power Girl fan I know.
Thank you.
I mean, he's a fan for two very obvious reasons. But I mean, absolutely, Amanda, I think in many people's mind, myself included, is when you think Power Girl, you see her Power Girl.
Absolutely.
In your mind, she just does great work. A lot of it with her fiance, I actually believe, Jimmy Palmiotti.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they were super great folks, super nice, hella easy to talk to.
Absolutely. And what was really cool was that, and Jimmy pointed this out, something that I was not aware of, that she was a diehard Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Which started off this massive conversation between her and I.
Duke got punked.
and
The Star Wars fan of the
Dude,
store got punked.
She said, how many times did you see it in the theaters? I said, I was 3 years old when it came out in theaters. I think I saw it once. She said, I saw it 26 times. I was like, what?
That's a lot of times. I love Spider-Man, and I only saw The Amazing Spider-Man 7 times in theaters. 26?
I was
wow.
floored. I was floored.
It wasn't just that. You know, I mentioned the panel that we got to go to. The panel wasn't hugely packed. You know, there was, I would say, about 20 people to watch the panel with both of them. And it was fun because they had us all just kind of get in a group. I mean, Duke and I were already right there in the front row. We went directly to the front row.
Absolutely.
And they had us all get up into a group and get right up front and they just
pulled
BS
everybody
with
up
us.
front. They pulled 2 chairs up to the front row, and they just talked with everybody. It was awesome.
And they were fun. They were real, and they seemed like they were genuinely enjoying being around everybody. Jimmy talked about a new book they're doing called Captain Brooklyn.
Sounds awesome.
It sounds
great.
fantastic. I can't wait.
And in fact, I think their exact description of the book was that it's going to be wrong.
In so many ways,
In so
I think
many
he
ways,
said.
that was the exact quote.
Yeah, and I'm stoked on that. And Duke and I actually made our pleas to them to try to get NWI involved in that in some way as
did.
characters. And we weren't told no.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that was cool.
That's
Great.
right.
I have a feeling at some point you're going to see us pop up in one of their books, or at least I'm going to hound them until it happens.
One thing that I really enjoyed about their entire conversation was how they talked about, very candidly, about working in the industry, but also about how they work in the industry in many ways to support working out of the industry. Or working out of the mainstream, as it
Right.
were. You know, you work for Marvel, you work for DC, so that you can get some money, so that you can put it into your own book. And
Yep.
I loved that. But also, I loved how much time they spent talking about Kickstarter and things like that in order to make money for your projects. I loved that.
Explain for our listeners out there Kickstarter.
Okay, Kickstarter basically the way it's set up. And I've seen this done so many ways with film. I've been to Sundance Film Festival tons of times, and that's one of the things about indie film. Kickstarter's a way to do it because you can basically group fund a film or any project from 1,000 different sources. And all you do is you put your project out there, you should show a video of what your project is or what you hope to accomplish, and based on that video and based on maybe whatever special things you're offering, people will give you money for your project. And one of the things that they were talking about offering for Captain Brooklyn was offering the opportunity to be a character in the book for a donation. And that's, we would love to do that.
Yes. So help us out with that, listeners.
Absolutely.
At Nerds with Issues wants in. They're both on Twitter.
Absolutely.
So get on there now and check them out. Also, and like I said, follow us at Nerds with Issues. That, to me, 2 things that I loved about getting to meet them. Number one, they weren't charging people for autographs.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
They were keeping it real. I mean, they were there for the fans, and
Absolutely.
that's what's always great about a con is when you see your favorite creators actually interacting, talking with you. I mean, personally, I'm a huge fan of Jimmy's. I feel like we're talking a lot about Amanda here, who's great. But Jimmy,
Absolutely.
if you don't know, has been a part of the industry for a good while now and has done some major work. Probably most notably, he was heavily involved with Marvel. The late 90s with the launch of the Marvel Knights initiative, him and editor Joe Quesada, and these are essentially with Daredevil, the book they worked on with Kevin Smith might be the book that had a great hand in saving Marvel back then.
I think that if you're going to throw 2 names out that can be credited with saving Marvel, it is Palmiotti and Quesada. Even though Quesada is viewed in many eyes as a villain still.
Yeah, even though he's on my enemies list next to Joel Schumacher and
Dan
Slott and absolutely Michael Bay. He's Palmiotti's just a great guy, and as of late, that's what I really respect about him too. Is he had his hands in this pivotal part of Marvel,
exactly,
and is still doing this really independent thing and doing a lot of great work. I'm a big fan of the New 52 relaunch of the Ray that he did. So unconventional and so diverse, and I love that about the book. And great talking with the guy. He sketched me a little Matt Murdock Daredevil on my Daredevil #1.
Well,
nice.
And the thing is he doesn't draw anymore.
Yes,
I mean professionally.
Yeah,
but he I only saw him sketch anything for 2 people, which was you and then a friend of mine, and that was it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Ultimately, I feel like they basically made the con for us because we were excited about it. Those were the ones we were excited about.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of exceeded our expectations of what we wanted because we wanted to meet them, we wanted to get autographs, but overall it exceeded our expectations. And I think that was the coolest part for me is I didn't expect them to be as cool as they were, and it was just fun. And one of the best panels, obviously Stan Lee's panel at ACE last year blew me away because I'm sitting in the presence of greatness.
I got to ask the man a question.
Yeah, and then Brian ruined the whole thing with his question.
When is the Deadpool movie coming out?
Oh, God.
I did not ask that, but someone else did, and they
What's
deserve to be
messed up
slapped.
is it was a retarded kid that did, and you're making fun of him.
I didn't know Dan Slott was at that panel.
No, Dan Slott, they don't do panels for Dan Slott. He does his own in his home, puts them on YouTube because he's such an ass. Nobody wants to hear from him.
One thing before we shift just off Palmiotti and Connors is that I do want to point out that they have some art currently here in town for our listeners who are here at Albuquerque.
Thank you for pointing that out.
They have a showing at Stranger Factory.
Yes, and it's here, I believe, till the end of the month of January,
Absolutely.
if not until the little bit of early February.
And they spent the whole week in Albuquerque. I just want to keep going on about that. They were great to the fans. They did something for the community, and I think it's
Yes,
awesome.
I attended the writing class with Palmiotti, which was awesome, by the way. But yeah, if you get the chance, over at Stranger Factory, it's over off of Central and Carlisle. Great place. It's a toy store and an art gallery, and if you're sitting there wondering what a Toy Story / art gallery looks like, I can't explain it. Simply go in and check it out. A lot of cool stuff there. And, I mean, that's not just work from the two of them. There's a lot of great pages that Amanda has done for Amicami and other stuff. But there's also an original Mike Mignola Hellboy #1 page in there for the diehards. And there's some other great work by J.G. Jones, Bill Sienkiewicz, and the
Phil
list goes
Noto.
on and on. Yeah, absolutely. Phil Noto is a great one, too. So go check out the exhibit, guys. It'll be there till the end of January. Over at Stranger Factory. Great guys.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, and they really, like I said, they made the con for me as far as that goes. I mean, there was a lot of different things, having fun, hanging out with you guys, but that was what I was looking forward to.
That's so sweet.
It was cool. Until you just screwed that all right now.
The instant he said that, I imagined Queen, my best friend, playing all of a sudden. Like,
People, let me tell you about. But it was fun. They were great people. I hope we get a chance to run across them again. Absolutely. And we gave them the podcast, and she was excited. She was like, "We're traveling right now. We absolutely will listen to this." And I'm stoked because
That's cool.
When she listens to it, she's going to hear that we talk about how awesome they are on that last one. So,
yeah.
And if people are like, "Oh God, you guys are sucking up too much to them," no, we're really fans. This is.
Well, here's the thing.
we are nerds with issues.
Basically, look, I would throw down the Pepsi challenge to anybody that wants to say that. If you ever end up at a con and Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connors are there, tell me they're not two of the coolest people you ever met.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Well, and just Jimmy's whole attitude, his Brooklyn accent, it was
awesome.
It was just fun.
It was pure
As
awesome.
a Queens kid, it's just like, all right, man, this guy knows what's going on.
So let's switch gears a little bit.
Totally.
So that was my favorite part of the con. Brian, what about you?
God, I want to think about this one a lot. I mean, it's like I just said. I think we the name Nerds with Issues is not for show. All three of us are diehard nerds.
Absolutely.
Personally, I was out hunting a lot of Silver Age books, made a lot of filled a couple holes in my Spider-Man collection. Regardless,
I didn't buy one book. I just realized that. I was cloud nine because I was like, oh man, Amanda Connors signed my Silk Spectre #1. That was like it for me.
God, I really got to think about this one for a second.
Well, I can tell you that what I was happy that I picked up was give you some time to think about that.
Yes. Don't hurt yourself.
being a huge Power Girl, I picked.
Wait.
up-
You're a huge Power Girl? You really are a huge Power Girl.
That was a poorly timed gulp. Okay, just I
a huge Power Girl with a poorly timed gulp.
Okay, listen. Being a huge Power Girl fan,
Perfect.
I picked up a couple books that I actually already had, just doubles.
Awesome books.
But Michael Turner didn't do much Power Girl, but the couple images that he did do, wow, awesome stuff. But I picked those up, and I picked up some great prints. John Hughes has a great Power Girl print that I'll never be able to put anywhere where my kids will see it. But I mean, some great stuff there. Picked up some great artwork. It was just had a really fantastic time. I mean, I love conventions. I can't have a bad day at a convention.
And we talked about that on that first issue, which was it's not the greatest Comic-Con as far as guests, but the people were there. What we were looking forward to was the community, and it was.
Well, here's the thing. You and I are walking the floor as everything is getting ready to shut down. This is what I like about Albuquerque Comic Con. We're walking around, and he goes, "Dude, Lex Luthor's behind you." And I turn around, and sure enough, John Shea standing right there. Lex Luthor from Lois and Clark from my teenage years. And that's what happened.
And let me tell you the coolest thing. No, the coolest thing about John Shea was he was there as a fan, getting some autographs from some artists in Artist Alley.
That's exactly what was happening.
It's great. It's great to see you could take the day off of fighting Superman and come out to the con.
Yeah, right.
It's always good.
it was cool. And I'm walking. I just think it's cool. And I'm like, man, I just brushed by John Shea.
Right.
That's Lex Luthor. And he's walking. He's got his Duke's walking, got his headphones on. And I was like, dude, we just walked right by Lex Luthor from Lois and Clark. He's like, what? Turns around. 2 feet away. There he is.
2 feet away.
That was awesome. Okay,
Right.
B-wok.
I gotta absolutely agree. The thing about a convention is you're in the thick of it. You are in the thick of nerd culture, and we were talking earlier about seeing all the backpacks. I mean, I loved. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, there was definitely some point. People started to recognize us as NWI at the con, and that's awesome. That's cool, getting some recognition for the stuff we're doing here. And I just love being in the thick of nerd culture, man. Whether you're next to John Shea or whether you're elbow to elbow with 2 other dudes looking through back issues. I mean, that's what it really comes down to for me. BSing with vendors about who you prefer, whether it's Steve Ditko on Amazing Spider-Man or John Romita Sr.
Yeah.
That's really it for me. Speaking of which, picked up an Amazing Spider-Man 15, first Craven. I'm personally very proud of it. Anyway, but I think Duke's absolutely right. I've never really been to a convention that I didn't have a good time at. Heck, at TriCon, I even found something to be stoked about, which I'll tell you that story another time, unless you want to tell it now.
Well, look, TriCon was a convention that was in Rio Rancho back in October, and to say that it was intimate is being polite and very, very loving of the whole thing.
By intimate, you mean more like empty?
Absolutely.
I prefer to say intimate because it says what I mean to say about the convention, which is I had a good time, and that's about
without
it.
turning everything to a negative note. I do want to say that I'm looking forward to Ace. It's not that I didn't have a fun with the Albuquerque Comic Con. It's the people running the Albuquerque Comic Con and TriCon are, to say the least, inconsiderate.
Inconsistent as well.
Inconsistent would be the word you're looking for, but I'm all right with the inconsistent. That works too. But I don't want to take issue with it, but it is, we're all about really kind of being real. And the one thing I will say is, and one of my biggest issues is don't disrespect the comic community. Just don't. We're the ones that keep you afloat. And I found it extremely.
What do you feel? I'm trying to gauge where you're coming from on this.
Well, okay, I'll give you an idea. Number one, don't lie to us about guests that are going to be there. That was my first thing. So
Neil Adams.
Okay, yeah, and you
Absolutely.
all know. Well, not just Neil Adams, but you all know. I'm talking bigger names that everybody mainstream will know.
Right.
I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. You guys know this.
As am I.
That's right.
And I was ridiculous. My biggest thing, besides Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, I was really excited to meet Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
He was on the flyer. He was on the website a week before the con. He's no longer on the website. I talked to, and I won't get too deep into this, but the lady who was kind of the liaison for us to get our press passes, I asked her, hey, he's not on the website anymore. What's going on? I'm going to give you guys the honest response because you deserve to know. I was told this. Oh, he was invited. He was never confirmed. Now, for somebody who's in the promotions game as it is, that is false advertisement and fraudulent. You cannot put somebody on a flyer because it is in print and everywhere now. It's not a maybe he'll be there. It's he's going to be there. Yeah. You can't do that.
I can invite Jim Lee to my house. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Hey, by the way, exactly. Jesus is going to be at Ace. You guys should all come out. No.
Yeah.
That's not how you do things. It's bad for business. And I know a lot of people that didn't go because of that. Don't do that to the comic community. It's not cool. And another thing.
That always happens at conventions. But
yes, guess our subjects have changed.
Right.
People are busy,
and we're all aware of that.
Well, look, I heard stories this weekend about people who had been to conventions, and stories about Michael Turner was supposed to show up and he was late. Well, you find out that the reason he was late was because he was sick with cancer. Yeah. Okay, that's one thing for not showing up to a con.
I thought you were talking about this one. I was he's dead, right?
I'm trying to give positive examples as to why a guest would not be. Well, and here's the other thing. Or at Ace, I think it was 2 years ago. I was excited to meet Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca. I was like, that's going to be awesome. Well, he didn't show up, but that was because the guy was sick. There are legitimate reasons.
In fairness to Ace, they made up for it last year by having him there.
Oh, and that was fantastic because actually there was a panel with both Peter Mayhew and one of the voice actors from the Clone Wars. That was a great panel. But anyways. My whole point was there was also one point where I got to really, and I was already in a mood, but I'm sitting there, and they come by. Yeah. Some of the people, they come by, and they look at me, and I've got my press pass around my neck, and they ask me if I have my wristband on. Yeah, the wristband thing this year was irritating. It was like, do you have your wristband? No, I've got my lanyard.
Yeah,
Are
I don't know if you
kidding
see
me?
this pass that I'm wearing around my neck.
What's the
that
point
you
of
gave
having
me.
the pass if you're also going to give that wristband?
That was the worst part about it, was the people putting on the con. Other than that, I had a great time.
But the people there,
Yeah.
the guests were awesome.
Yes.
Even the fact that the anime people had a DJ that would never stop.
Oh God, yeah.
Even though that was irritating,
That
it
guy
was
was
still fine.
that was like the Energizer Bunny of
Yeah,
DJs.
It's not my type of
But-
music, but he was a good
but
guy.
it-
He actually came by our
It
booth.
was all the same.
He actually came by our booth and almost bought one of
Maybe
Outer
I'm just
Space.
old. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just old.
Well, he almost bought one of the Outer Space longboards. I mean, he was cool. The DJ was cool.
Okay.
It was just the people setting it up. Now, I want to get into to this. Let's go back to the positive side.
Positive.
We had to say that though. We are nerds with issues. We don't sugarcoat anything. We
try
tell
not
you how
to.
it is. I have this little flyer here, and I want to talk about the funniest thing I've seen in a very long time. And it's also, I'm kind of proud about the fact that it's from New Mexico.
a little web series. You might have seen
It's
it.
a web series called Enter the Dojo.
Oh my goodness.
We had the pleasure of being right across from them both days.
And being
Couple
right
of
acro-
reasons. Couple of reasons we had the pleasure. Number one,
I know where
and
this
I'll
is
learn her name. I'm sure she's going to hear this and go, "Wow, what a dick! He remembers, he remembers my tits, but doesn't remember my name." Sorry, ladies, that's how it goes most of the time. But no, she was awesome.
She was lovely.
She was lovely. Not
She
only
was a
that, she was
sweetheart.
funny.
She was a wonderful person. She
But
really
they had the
was.
TV up there, an LCD TV, running the web series the whole way through. And one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and she pitched it to me the perfect way. She said, it would be as if Karate Kid and The Office had a baby.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And you're sitting there going, I enjoy both these things. You need
Yes.
to check this out right now.
Yes. And then I was like, what if you and I had a baby? But
To which he didn't say out loud because he actually does have a beautiful
no.
young daughter.
Yes.
Mackenzie.
I didn't know what to
Shout-
say. I was like,
Shout out to Doughboy's baby sitting at home listening to this one.
oh, God. One day she's going to hear this and go, oh, my God, that's my father. Well, Duke's kids are old enough now to go, oh, my God, that's my father.
Yeah,
They do that in the store
they are.
regularly.
They do it in the store all the time. Yeah.
But I want to hit this thing hard because these folks deserve
she said.
everything good that comes to them because they put in a lot of effort. It's really fun. It's called Enter the Dojo, youtube.com/Enter the Dojo Show. Just look it up online. Just Google Enter the Dojo. Master Ken is the lead character in it, and he's one of the funniest characters. He's just this
Hilarious.
He's just this ridiculous instructor, and some of the funniest scenes I've seen. Some things that weren't really kid friendly in these scenes,
Yeah.
and kids are walking by like, "Mommy, what's that?" And I'm like, "That's some crazy stuff, is what it is." But the best part is at the end, I got to go up to him and say, "Hey."
Yeah.
We have to tell you what a pleasure it was to be across from you guys and be able to kind of watch this all day and see people's reaction. And I said, we have a podcast. And they literally snatched it out of my hand. They were so excited. And one of the girls, Rachel, I don't remember her last name. Forgive me. Trust me, we will, I'm sure, talk about you folks plenty. Right away started following us on Twitter. And I thought that was ridiculously cool. What were you saying?
Here's something that anytime you're at a con and you're near any booth that has a TV or something that's constantly running in a loop, it begins to drive you nuts.
Yes.
It begins to absolutely drive you crazy. That was not the case with this show.
Not at all.
I mean,
Not once.
literally, the screen is facing us the whole time. Never once are we not looking at this show. And it's one of the funniest freaking things that I've ever seen. It's great.
It really was. And I kept waiting for like my favorite scenes to come up.
Yes, I was doing the same thing.
I'm tapping Dead Air Timmy on the shoulder. I'm like, watch this. And people are looking at me like I'm crazy.
Dude, the bath salt episode. Oh my! All I'm going to say is the bath salt episode.
One
is
of my
hilarious.
favorite lines from Master Ken. This one guy took bath salts, and he literally ate the face right off of the guy's face. And I lost my mind. I was like, it's real simple, but extremely clever.
Right.
I hope you check it out.
Great
and
stuff.
maybe we can even talk them into letting us do like some sort of NWI guest on that. That would be ridiculous.
That would be awesome.
Where
Or we could
Master
get
Ken trains us.
Or get some of them on the show. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. So
Yes, sir.
let's solicit that right now. Hey, come and be on our show. Come down to Kaboom. We would love to have you here.
Absolutely.
We love Enter the JoJo.
Yeah, we're going to
Enter the
start
dojo.
that. We're going to start that Twitter campaign tonight. Enter
Absolutely.
the dojo. Once again, it's youtube.com/Enter the dojo. Masterkins,
Train us in your ways.
Ameridote.
We too want to be masters of Ameridote.
Ameridote.
That's what he calls it, Ameridote. Best of all, worst of none is the slogan, and it's perfect. Check it out. I guarantee you will love it. If you don't, well, you suck and have no sense of humor.
Go home.
So, with the exception of that, I mean, I didn't get any. I didn't get any books. I didn't really feel the need to. We were there specifically to promote Kaboom, promote Nerds with Issues, promote Outer Space Skate Apparel. We did a hell of a job promoting Nerds with Issues. You will see on our Instagram as well as our Facebook that I took tons of pictures of people just wearing those backpacks. You couldn't go anywhere in that con without somebody. It got to the point at the end of the day, we had to tell people that we were out, and we felt bad. They were coming in to get their bags.
A lot of people were left out, which I thought was odd. We thought we brought
that was a ton of bags.
Yeah.
Well, there was
love
definitely
free
more
swag.
than 500 people there throughout the 2 days.
Yeah.
But overall, it was awesome to see NWI on their backpack everywhere they went.
And also you see Outer Space on there too. Shout out to Dead Air Timmy, man, hanging out all
Dead Air
weekend.
Timmy.
Dude,
Dead Air Timmy.
He
Comic
did good.
Con warrior, dude, straight up.
That was actually his first Comic Con, and not his last. We are planning on Ace. I don't know how you fellas feel about Phoenix. We'll talk about that later at some point.
Yeah, that's a
but
political
there's
thing that goes off into another direction.
Stan's going to be there, so we'll have to talk about that.
I do love talking to the man.
So we'll talk about that, but we'll have Ace and the big one in July.
Hey, you guys go ahead and shoot low, because I'm going to still try to make it out to WonderCon in March in Anaheim for no other reason than to go to a comic book convention. And then the same day, then go to Disneyland. I'm sorry, but that is a perfect
You know what?
day.
We
in
might
my
have to
opinion.
do that because
I've done it. I did it last year.
I've never been to Disneyland.
What?
I know.
California boy never been to Disneyland.
Nope.
There's
Nope.
just something
How
wrong with that.
Dead Air Timmy, you don't have a mic, but how many times have you been to Disneyland?
Countless.
What's
I've even
wrong
been
with
to
you,
Disneyland.
Doughboy?
I've even been in Disneyland, and I'm like I'm the young buck of the group. What's up with that?
I wasn't going to say buck. There was a different word. But honestly, you know what? We might have to, because that's Stan Lee's con, right?
WonderCon.
Or
No.
he's
No, actually, ironically, WonderCon
used to be in San Francisco.
used to be the San Francisco con.
Dead
Exactly.
Air Timmy and I were actually talking about that.
Yeah.
All right, well let's plan on that.
Well, dude, there's nothing like it. I'm going to say this right now because I can, because
Okay.
I've done it. There's nothing like spending all day at a comic convention with comic book people, talking about movies, talking about upcoming comic book movies, seeing Stan Lee signing stuff, and then going to Disneyland and spending the rest of the day at a theme park until you get tired and pass out. There's nothing better than that.
All right.
Not only that, but I mean, I've never been to WonderCon. I've always wanted to go. Speaking of which, I'd like to give NWI will be at San Diego Comic Con 2013 this year.
Oh my goodness!
Official as of this week, and don't get me wrong, as immensely excited as I am about that show, and as much as I'm jumping up and down my inner kid inside, obviously inner kid. Anyway, the thing about San Diego is that it's not for the claustrophobic. It's not for for those who are afraid of crowds. And while it's awesome, it can be exhausting. What I've heard is great about WonderCon, which is why I want to try it out, is that it's still very much a Comic Con that is a comic book convention.
Absolutely.
Which I mean, no disrespect to San Diego, it's a lot of fun to be out there, but I mean, the Twihards can get really annoying. I'm sorry, but I want to go out to a convention.
But that stuff I just ignore. Honestly, like there's what I do love about the idea of San Diego Comic Con is there's
Mad
the
Babes.
comics, but there's so
Spider-Sense is
much
on
more.
blast all
Yeah,
weekend.
but let's not be ignorant of one important fact. Hollywood is in this game.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
San Diego is Hollywood's con.
But this
these days.
this fall, the perfect example was New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And Hollywood was all over that. And Hollywood's going to be all over WonderCon, and they're going to be all over. Dude, they're going to eventually they've got to start seeping into the smaller cons because they want to get their product out there. They want people to know about their movies, and they know that this is a growing niche, and it's only getting bigger. So
Well, that's definitely something we're going to have to start kind of planning for.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm
Yes,
so
if you're
excited.
listening out there, we will be at San Diego. Come say hi to us. We're all really
San Diego is 2 weeks after Ace.
And,
Yes, yes.
Right?
Coincidentally, it's right around the time of my 35th birthday.
Is that right? 35.
Yes. Duke, do you remember what it was like to be 35?
That was like half a decade ago.
Old guy. No, we're gonna have a good time. I'm looking forward to it, and to everybody at Albuquerque Comic Con, there are some people we want to give some shout outs to, for sure. and we'll start going over them. First and foremost, I got a new tattoo.
Yes, you did.
And it's a nice one.
And that was
It's a great one.
Speaking of irritating things at cons, we happened to be across the aisle
Yes.
from a giant TV playing the whole time. That happened to be playing something great.
Yep.
And then we happened to be next to the tattoo booth, right next to the tattoo booth. And you would think that buzz would get irritating. It was fantastic.
It was fun.
It was great.
I just thought it was my spider sense tingling the whole
Is that
time.
what
I think
Well, something was tingling with Tim because Dead Air Timmy was trying to hook up.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Oh,
No.
why are you shaking your head? You weren't? I'm not going to say the guy's name. Okay, that's horrible. I should never do that to my best friend. No, there was a pretty hot chick there.
my goodness.
And Dead Air Timmy was, he's players go and play. And, well, anyways, long story short, I decided, everybody I think, especially after the last podcast, knows I'm a huge Watchmen fan. Both
fan, yeah.
the book, the Before Watchmen series, and the movie.
Right.
And it just struck me, I want to get the smiley face with the blood splatter.
Right.
And I told the guy, and right away he's like, yeah, I can do that. Cool. Now, I'm not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is he gave me a wonderful price.
Yep.
And I think it's because he's just a nice guy.
Yep.
But I'm going to give them shouts out anyway.
Yeah.
They are local here in Albuquerque, so for our other listeners, I'm sorry. You can't go there. But if you're out here in Albuquerque or the surrounding areas, Ace's Tattoo, they're awesome. He did this tattoo in about 45 minutes.
And what was really cool about it is that we didn't have
Freehand.
Dude, there was no Xerox machine. There was no way for him to make a copy of it so that he could actually. I mean, because they do a transfer. That's how you do tattoos. They do a transfer onto your skin.
Yep.
So that they have a guide. Well, he didn't have that capability. So what he did is he took the picture and he freehand drew it on your arm. I thought that was the craziest thing ever.
And he nailed it.
He nailed it. It's
He
perfect.
Absolutely nailed it. He did the shading and everything, and I loved it. It was awesome. So Ace's Tattoo, they're awesome, and I'm sure we'll talk about them again.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know we're going to go back and get more work done.
Oh, yeah.
2737 San Mateo Boulevard Northeast. They also have a website, acestattooabq.com. Check out their website.
It's great, man. I gotta say, it might be my favorite piece on you. It looks good, dude.
I'm looking at it right now. It's swelling a little bit, but that's okay.
That website's a bit of a mouthful, but great tattoo shop.
acestattooabq.com. Absolutely, they're awesome, and I think that's going to be our new little shop to go to.
I think you're probably right.
And this whole arm is going to start getting some comic book stuff.
Believe me, you're gonna see Stay Puffed on my knuckles.
I don't know what to say. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So, what else? What else can we talk about? Because before we move on to any, because we're going to talk. There weren't a lot of books that came out in the last week. So
Nothing controversial anyway.
well,
Nothing that made me want to punch people in the face.
well, Superior
continually.
Spider-Man #1 did come out.
That
on
well,
Wednesday.
it's funny how that was such a waffle. Superior Spider-Man comes up, and I think everybody was expecting. I don't know what everybody was expecting, but I'm not going to spoil it at all. But definitely, the talk about Superior Spider-Man at the con this weekend was like, really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You do what you did in 700, and you follow it up with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really?
It is.
Dude, Marvel has done a masterful job of doing marketing and everything that they've done this summer. And then to have, I think this is a fiasco. I mean, really, it's ugly.
I think Mr. Slaughter has crafted himself something that kind of got away from him. And I think with #1, if you've read it, I think that's kind of evident. I mean, I won't spoil anything. One small thing I will say is, as a Spidey fan, not a fan of the Sinister Syndicate being the new Sinister Six. I don't know why that bothers me like it does, but it does.
I think
And,
anything that has to do with Dan Slott's writing, it'll
agree.
bother.
I
He
mean-
could write in there, B-wok is the most amazing person I've ever met.
and it would probably piss me off. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
And B-wok's going to be like, why'd he say amazing? That's Spider-Man's thing. What's he doing?
He'd be like, why is a shout out to me in this book? It doesn't belong there. It's totally out of
Makes
place.
no sense.
I don't want the man saying my name. I feel like it would make me feel dirty.
Oh. So other men can say your name. and you're fine. It's getting out of hand. So, yeah, Superior Spider-Man, but not much for books. But, I mean, was there anything else that you guys took away from Comic-Con that you really want to get into?
It's one thing. this is me being just a flat geek, and this is actually how I judge a con. If I can play my little games that I play, and the people around me think they're funny, then it was a good con. And one thing that I always do, okay, first of all, I got to do this. The 501st, the Star Wars
cosplaying group.
Thank you. The Star Wars cosplaying group. Dude, they are amazing people. They really are. I mean, those guys, first of all, they volunteer all of their time. They do so much for children's hospitals and stuff like that. I love the 501st like anything. But I will mess with those guys mercilessly at a con.
Oh, I know.
Because the troopers will walk around and they'll walk up and down the aisle, and I am that jerk that will, out of nowhere, go, down with the Empire! And they hate it when I pull that crap. Because they're all looking around up and down the aisle like, where's this jerk at?
It's okay. I'm the guy sitting there with a Vision Hero click, and I'm like, is this what you need? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, isn't the droid you're looking for?
Oh, wow. Yeah, and we got some good pictures with them as well. We didn't take as many pictures, but we took some good ones.
We did take some
good ones. I got to say, the 501st and the 505 in general, is one of the most
Absolutely.
is the most dedicated cosplaying group. Just awesome guys, all of them.
I want to,
and gals.
I want to just, while we're still talking about the 501st, and we'll get off this in just a second. There was a story that came through, and I think I told you guys about this. There was a guy that was cosplaying as Darth Maul, and it's kind of a moving story. And I just want to break this up real quick. He was out there cosplaying as Darth Maul, and the reason he was cosplaying as Darth Maul was for his son. His son was diagnosed with cancer last year, and unfortunately last fall he lost his battle with cancer and he passed away. But Brent was out there trooping as Darth Maul, and he had his full regalia on, and the reason he was in that costume was because that was Alex's favorite character.
Oh, wow.
And on his
you're about to make me cry on this
podcast. I know, man, I know. And on his
about to make my tears come out of my face.
On his Make-A-Wish trip, he wanted to go to Disney World to see how the Darth Maul there did the makeup and everything, and the horns he was wearing was the horns that were given to them by Disney, and that whole costume was because of that, and it was just moving. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And okay, now we can get to something that's offensive.
That's
more
awesome.
nerds.
That's awesome.
And that's my issue, dude. I'm kind of a woman about stuff like this. I really am, and I know I really shouldn't have said that. I really shouldn't have said that.
I'm kind of a female with female parts. I don't know what to do.
That's just too easy. I'm not even gonna.
Dude, it's just it's just,
no, that's stuff that we need to mention,
dude,
and that's cool stuff.
It was a beautiful thing, and really, it was inspiring.
Yeah,
it really was.
And it's cool to see stuff. But that's what we talk about when we're talking about a community. People go, "Oh, Comic-Con, that's really nerdy." No, it's really cool.
It's
and
real
really
people
fun
with real lot of stories. As corny as that sounds,
yeah.
A lot of cool people, a lot of hot babes, and awesome costumes. By the way,
What a great segue, B-wok. Good job.
Can I just say there was a female Doctor Strange, and never in my life have I felt so strongly attracted to Stephen Strange.
Right. Or
Stefana Strange. I don't know what. Regardless,
Stefina. There you go.
Her eye of Agamotto had me going, oh God.
But with every Comic-Con, there are also a few out there that maybe shouldn't wear the costumes they're wearing.
I'm sorry, but if you're the girl at the con and someone's sitting there going, "That's an awesome Blob cosplay." What? You're Poison Ivy? Oh
God.
That's a cue.
Who are you, Miss Muffin Top? Wait, no.
All right, favorite costumes. And that not just girls, but I mean there was some really great stuff.
Who was the kid with the homemade
the homemade Dalek from Doctor Who?
I did not see.
Did you
that.
not see?
Oh my God,
dude, this was
the
craziest thing ever. What this kid had done, him and his dad, they put together this wooden frame, and it was a Dalek.
It was awesome.
He had a plunger, and he had all of the accoutrements and everything. And the way they had set it up was that it was a wooden frame where he was walking inside of it, and it was on casters. So he's just pushing.
Looks
he's
like
inside
he's gliding.
of it, pushing it through, and it looks like he's gliding. It was the most amazing costume that I've seen in a long time.
I'm sorry I missed out on that.
It was really
It was
great.
awesome, and we all people. As he's going through the aisle, all of us are yelling at him. That is awesome. It was amazing. Oh my God, this is awesome.
It was fantastic.
And you could see his mom just kind of like beaming, like, okay, that is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Well, actually, I talked to them, and the reason she was beaming was because it was her idea.
Nice. Very nice.
Moms love Doctor Who.
Oh my goodness, they do.
I will say that was one of my favorites.
My mom doesn't watch anything but Spanish novellas. Let's just tell you something.
There's so many places I could go with that, and I'm just not going to.
I'm that brown, yes.
Okay, favorite
yeah.
costume.
Favorite costume. The two girls that came, one as comedian, and the other
The
as
Watchmen girls.
Silk
Absolutely.
Spectre.
Silk Spectre. They were awesome.
I
Incredible.
walked past her and I went comedian. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were
And
definitely
then
my
Duke said
favorite.
it's a joke. It's all a joke, and he started weeping like a woman.
With woman parts.
No, I didn't.
No,
I'm
that
not.
that definitely was probably my favorite costume. What about you, Duke?
The Dalek.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's Brian's turn on this one.
That's a couple, without a doubt. Shout out to the Doctor Strange girl. She had a friend with her who was Wonder Woman, which, can I say, that's one crossover I now want to see, inspired by Albuquerque Comic Con 2013, as well as the Bombshells. Love those
yeah.
girls to death. Some great costumes there.
Yeah.
On Saturday, there was a Wonder Woman there as well. I'm a Wonder Woman fan, in case you can't tell.
I'm a Wonder Woman outfit fan.
And there was some awesome Silent Hill nurses, and those girls just do awesome work. A lot of love to the Bombshells here in
yeah.
Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah.
Great gals.
They're awesome, and
Cool
we'll be
chicks.
doing some work with them soon.
Absolutely.
I know we will. They actually helped us pass out some of the Nerds with Issues.
Lovely
bags that we had.
ladies, gorgeous girls. Really love those girls.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to them. We need to get them to get some pictures with us for the new website and all that good stuff.
We
as
got to
well.
get Tasha on the show one day.
We really should. Enough of us
Absolutely.
douchebags. Let's get some hot girls on this show.
That's
what I'm
right.
saying.
That's right.
I'm down.
Is there one moment for you guys? I don't know about you guys, but usually for me, there's always one moment in a con that kind of stands out for me. I know that's a tall order, but I don't know. I'd have to think of mine.
Well, I do want to give. I'm forgetting certain things. Noel G.
Oh, that's right.
Who
That's
once
right.
again we talked about this on the last podcast. He's been in
In everything?
everything from Training Day all the way to Bruce Almighty. Awesome guy, and he's a collector.
Oh yeah.
I got a chance to chat with him for a few minutes. He gave me his email. Looks like we're going to be doing some future stuff with him as well.
It does, yeah.
Very soon. We won't get into that yet. We will get into that on the next podcast when we're more kind of sure what that all is.
There is some classified info at the moment.
Yes, but he was awesome. He was just walking around having a good time with everybody and chill.
What was really cool was heard him talking yesterday about his small little cameo or whatever in Dark Knight Rises, and I mentioned that to him, and he goes, "Yeah." He said, what was really cool about that was that I was only on set for like a couple days, and I felt like it was just like it was a passing thing. He said, and then I saw it, and it was like I was the featured man in that one little spot. He said, I thought that was amazing, and so I thought it was kind of cool that an actor that you see in everything can be that enthusiastic about his job. I thought that was cool.
He really was, and he's one of those dudes that's just in every movie. Now, I was looking on IMDb, and I mentioned this to you guys. I did think it was a little odd that he's in several different movies. I counted five or six, I believe, where his character's name is Hector. When we get him on the show,
Right.
and
We're just gonna
if
call
he
him
listens to this now, prepare. No, but I want to ask him about that. I want to know if that's like an inside thing that he
Right.
purposely goes for, because I saw that and I'm like, man.
I want to ask him if that monkey did indeed fly out of his crack, man. That's what I want to know. Those are the
If
pressing
you have to
questions
ask him
people
that
want to know.
question, there's an issue.
And I'm going to get punched in the face. I really.
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh, then ask him.
Probably.
But other than that, I think we all just had a really great time at Ace.
yeah. Yes.
I can't think of any bad moments. Yeah, we had our little, what we thought as far as the people that put it on. But other than that, and I'll say it again, just be true to your fans, to the people that put money in your pocket.
I'm sad.
Why?
Well, because remember we were sitting in Jimmy Palmiotti's panel. He was talking about working on Jonah Hex, and he said that he loved working on All-Star Western because he felt like he totally understood Jonah Hex. Like he totally gets the character. He's like,
What's not to get, really?
Well, he said, I hear Jonah Hex's voice in my head
Yes.
all the time. And what I wanted to ask him was, so does Jonah Hex sound like Josh Brolin?
Wow. No,
But I never got to ask him.
What I found interesting about that is when he said, I hear his voice in my head, so when I'm writing, and I won't put that dialogue in if I can't hear him, if I can't hear him say that.
Right.
And that, to me, I thought was pretty much the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, all in all, I'd say Albuquerque Comic Con 2013 was a win, specifically for NWI and Kaboom Test Labs.
Without a doubt.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I tell people this all the time. Sometimes I go into situations and I literally believe that they're gonna suck for no other reason than I know I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what, it can only go up from the bottom. So right. So
You sat through episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars. I'd imagine as much.
Exactly.
Duke secretly loves Jar Jar.
No. Duke publicly hates Jar Jar.
But privately loves him. No,
got a shrine in
honestly,
his house.
it was a great
No.
weekend. Thank you to everybody who came out and showed love.
Totally.
The feedback that we got on our first episode of NWI was great, so hopefully everybody's going to dig this one as well.
Much love. Thank you all to all of our listeners. I feel like we haven't even given a shout out to all the people listening to this.
Oh, dude.
The
And
fans-
so many people have come up to tell us how they enjoyed the first episode, and that means a ton.
Yeah.
It really does.
As a bunch of nerds, that means the world to us. I mean,
Yeah, because we're all just looking for validation anyway.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
one
much.
of our issues.
And now it's even easier with them being able to download it, straight off of the website and whatnot and things
That's
like
up
that.
now.
Yeah.
It's coming.
By the time they hear this, it is. Overall, I think that it was a great weekend. I think we all had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Ace. Let's move on to the future there. Ace in June, and then San Diego Comic Con in July, and even before Ace, it's looking like Amazon. It's looking like Anaheim.
Anaheim, WonderCon, yes, sir.
Yes, and it's looking at March.
like, what Comic Con's going on in the Amazon?
We're all tired, man.
Yeah, it's been that long. I mean, we had a room at the Hard Rock, and unfortunately, we
Douchebag.
we had some serious douchebags in the room next to us. So if you're listening to us, please don't, because we hate you.
If you were that douchebag, I'm a Falcon punch you.
Yeah,
through the microphone.
I'm a Superman punch.
I mean, what were they doing? Were they playing basketball?
no,
on the
they were just
wall? What were
cursing
they
and
doing?
they were fighting amongst each other.
Is that right?
Swearing
Yeah.
and getting, to quote them, getting faded and
Yeah, they just.
Dude, if you could
I
hear them
can't-
actually
I'm not
utter
gonna use the
phrases,
language.
Yeah, then obviously it was
Oh
too
no, we could
loud.
hear the whole conversations, and it lasted all night. So we didn't get a lot of sleep either of the nights. Hey, shout out to Kevin for
K-Fed.
yeah, coming out and getting free passes to Albuquerque Comic Con, a free room to stay in, but not helping do loading up or anything. Way to go, Kev. Way to go.
Way to
We'll
go,
miss you when
Kevin.
you go to Australia. Out there they whoop your ass for stuff like that. Just reminding you. But no, overall, Kevin, we love you. It was a great weekend. We had a great time. Thanks to everybody. I want to give a couple more shout-outs or just a reminder
words.
of everybody again. Ace's Tattoo, 2737 San Mateo Boulevard Northeast. Check them out. You're going to find us out there at some point. AcesTattooABQ.com. And the big one that I want to keep hitting because it was so fun, and I hope we get to do something with them. Enter the Dojo.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube.com/Enter the Dojo Show. Masterkins, Ameridote, best of all, worst of none.
Great stuff.
Mad
Really
love-
great stuff.
It
man.
really was awesome.
Mad love to the bombshells once
Oh,
more.
totally.
Yes, ladies, we
Totally.
love you, and we hope to work with you more in the future. It was just a
And
great weekend.
Once again, mad shout out to Outer Space, Dead Air Jimmy,
Yeah.
hanging out
Yes,
the
sir.
entire weekend and
Yes, sir.
having a good time, man.
Yep.
Yeah, and he put in the work, and it was his first Comic-Con, and he loved it.
And I
How
just-
was it? How was your first con?
It was amazing. I mean, there's nothing but good people there, and I mean the entire atmosphere is just really, really, really positive. And I mean, I've never experienced it, so it was such a first time kind of in awe. And I got to be honest, if one comes to the Bay Area and I've got the day off and I'm able to do it, I'll go. Maybe just for a day, but I enjoyed it, and I honestly didn't. I was coming expecting work, sell, and that's not like that. It's fun. It's making friends. And you're putting in work, and you're doing all of this other stuff
Absolutely.
too. So
Another
I like it a lot.
convert to the fold.
Yes.
Another convert. I love
Absolutely.
it. I
We've
love
done it. Another nerd with more issues.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, Albuquerque, I love you.
Yep.
This town knows how to show up for a con most of the time.
And everybody knows I'm not ridiculously fond of Albuquerque, but
I love this city.
You're growing on me.
Yeah.
And the more of these cons we do, the more you people out there I meet, the more
Albuquerque's
fun I'm
my
having.
lady, without a doubt. If she were a girl, I'd ask her to prom, and she'd say no because she'd be out of my league. She's that girl.
Ooh, I did want to say one thing.
Yes.
Albuquerque artist Andy Kuhn, talking to him.
Awesome dude. Big
Awesome
fan of
dude.
his.
He actually just came off of a run on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He is going back and doing another book for TMNT and
Awesome
IDW.
to hear. He
Very
also did a
excited.
very recent issue of Secret Avengers. I want to say it's the 25 or 6. I
Oh,
don't know
man.
off the top of my head, but guy does great work. I'm a big fan of his. Been following him since the Blue Beetle days.
He has a very Mignola-esque approach to his art.
And that's absolutely a compliment, seeing as I know the Admiral and B-wok are both huge fans of Mignola. So.
Yeah. So great stuff.
All right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up for us, fellas. I think we had a great weekend. I think everybody had a good time.
We most certainly did.
Next week, I think we've got a lot of stuff to cover. There's going to be a lot more books out.
Oh yeah.
Duke.
Well, actually, I mean, one thing that we just weren't able to get to this week, but that we'll definitely talk about next week, is Star Wars #1. Dark Horse started a brand new series featuring the cast from the original trilogy, or the characters from the original trilogy, and the first book is awesome.
Okay.
Being a Star Wars fan, it's written really well, and I'd love to talk about it.
Beautiful
next week.
covers by Alex Ross.
Alex Ross, are you kidding me?
Cool. So we'll get into that. Also, DC Comics, Batman #16.
Yep.
It's going to be a juggernaut.
Now, is that pretty much, is that ending up? Is that wrapping up the Death in the Family story?
I believe there might be one more issue. I could be wrong on that.
I don't think it ends in Batman. I want to say it ends in Detective in February.
Okay.
So I don't remember.
We'll be talking about that for sure. Also, big one, and I know I'm excited, Saga #9.
Absolutely.
Comes out.
The best book on shelves.
Cool
if
stuff.
you don't think so, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes. Let's see. What else is coming? All new X-Men. And they're putting those things out like crazy.
they are, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Seriously, man.
Is that
new
already
X-Men.
at #6?
#6.
Oh, my gosh.
We got all new X-Men. We've got, I'm looking through them right now.
Wait a minute.
Daredevil #22. We get to see Daredevil
Beat the living
whoop.
crap out of the inferior Spider-Man. I'm stoked.
Well, no,
Yes.
wait. Hold on. You're telling me we're on #6 of all new X-Men, but we still haven't seen #3 of Uncanny Avengers?
And it
Absolutely.
is still not released. I'm
my
looking
gosh.
at
You
that
can
right
thank
now.
You can thank Mr. John Cassidy. No, I love John Cassidy, but seriously, get that book out. I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
so we got a lot of books to cover next week. I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're done for this week.
I think we are.
Absolutely.
Issue #2 in the can.
Issue #2 is done. Once again, thanks for hanging out. And, Albuquerque Comic Con, Hard Rock Casino. What can I say? Hey, Peyote, all bets are off.
Oh, that's right.
Thanks for hanging, everybody. We love you, and
See
we
ya.
will talk to you
Peace.
soon. Peace out.
Adios.